No one Mary, Mafia CEO with strange disease, but village girl. Tame him after marriage. In the shadowy world of power and wealth, there are secrets that even money can't buy. Imagine a man who rules an empire with an iron fist, feared by all, yet shackled by something no one understands. A strange disease that leaves him isolated, bitter, and untouchable. This is the story of Adrian Valente, the enigmatic Mafia CEO, whose name strikes fear in the hearts of his enemies, but pity among those who know the truth about his condition. No one dared to come close to him, let alone marry him. Women whispered behind closed doors, calling him cursed. But what happens when fate throws an unlikely twist into this dark tale? Enter Mia, a simple village girl with nothing to her name but kindness and courage. What starts as an accidental meeting turns into a marriage neither of them expected, and it changes everything. Mia grew up surrounded by green fields and open skies, far removed from the glitz and danger of the city. She lived a quiet life, helping her family run their small farm while dreaming of something more. Her days were filled with hard work, laughter shared over meals, and nights spent gazing at the stars, wondering if she'd ever find her place in the world beyond her little village. Little did she know, destiny had plans far bigger and darker than she could have imagined. When circumstances force her to leave her home, she finds herself thrust into a world where every step feels like walking on thin ice. And then, out of nowhere, Adrian enters her life. Not as the villain everyone warned her about, but as someone who needs saving just as much as she does. Adrian Valente was no ordinary man. At 35, he commanded respect, or rather fear, from anyone who crossed his path. His sharp suits, cold demeanor, and reputation for ruthlessness made him infamous in the business world. Yet beneath the polished exterior lay a man tormented by a mysterious illness that sapped his strength and left doctors baffled. It wasn't just physical, it affected him emotionally too, making him moody, unpredictable, and prone to shutting people out. He lived in a luxurious penthouse, overlooking the city, but inside, he felt trapped in a prison of his own body. The only thing keeping him going was his determination to keep control of his empire, his emotions, and his secrets. Despite his wealth and influence, he couldn't escape the loneliness gnawing at him. That's why, when Mia walked into his life, he didn't know what hit him. Her innocence and warmth were alien concepts to him, yet they drew him in ways he couldn't explain. Their first encounter wasn't romantic or glamorous. It was messy, chaotic, and completely unplanned. Mia had been working part-time in a cafe near Adrian's office building, trying to make ends meet after moving to the city. One evening, as rain poured down outside, Adrian stormed into the cafe, looking for refuge from the storm and his own thoughts. Their eyes met briefly, and though Mia didn't recognize him immediately, Adrian noticed her right away. There was something about her. The way she smiled softly despite being tired. The genuine concern in her voice when she asked if he wanted anything warm to drink. For a moment, Adrian forgot about the weight on his shoulders. But before either of them could say much, fate intervened again, setting off a chain of events that would bind them together forever. The marriage between Adrian and Mia wasn't born out of love or mutual attraction. It was necessity disguised as opportunity. A series of misunderstandings led to a situation where marrying Mia seemed like the only solution to protect her from certain danger. For Mia, it was a choice between staying safe or risking everything she cared about. For Adrian, it was a chance to regain some semblance of control over his chaotic life. Neither of them expected the union to last long. let alone change them so profoundly. As they navigated their new roles as husband and wife, tensions ran high. Adrian struggled to reconcile his harsh instincts with Mia's gentle nature, while Mia fought to understand the complex man hidden behind the mask of power. Slowly but surely, their differences began to blur, revealing glimpses of vulnerability and hope. Living under the same roof brought challenges neither of them anticipated. Adrian's mansion was a fortress designed to keep people out, but Mia saw it as a puzzle waiting to be solved. She wandered its halls, discovering forgotten corners and treasures buried beneath layers of neglect. Each room told a story. Each object hinted at a past Adrian rarely spoke about. Meanwhile, Adrian watched her with a mix of fascination and frustration. How could someone so unassuming challenge him so deeply? He found himself questioning things he'd taken for granted. His priorities, his fears, even the walls he'd built around himself. And then there was the matter of his illness. Though he tried to hide it, Mia noticed the signs. The sudden fatigue, the faint tremors in his hands, the moments when pain flickered across his face. Instead of recoiling, she reached out, offering comfort without judgment. It infuriated him at first, but eventually, it softened something within him as weeks turned into months. A fragile bond began to form between them. Conversations started over dinner, stretched late into the night. Laughter replaced arguments, and trust slowly took root where suspicion once thrived. Yet just as things seemed to be falling into place, shadows loomed on the horizon. Someone from Adrian's past resurfaced, threatening to unravel the delicate balance they'd worked so hard to build. Secrets spilled out, forcing them to confront truths they'd both been running from. Was their connection strong enough to withstand the storm ahead? Or would the pressures of Adrian's world tear them apart? By now, you might be wondering how a village girl like Mia could tame a man like Adrian Valente. Was it her unwavering kindness, her refusal to back down when faced with adversity, or was it something deeper, something neither of them fully understood yet? Whatever it was, it sparked a transformation neither of them saw coming. But as the stakes rise and old enemies close in, will Mia's love be enough to save Adrian from himself? Or will the darkness consume them both? Stay tuned for the next chapter of this gripping tale, where love, loyalty, and survival collide in ways you won't see coming. As the days stretched into weeks, Mia found herself learning more about Adrian than she ever thought possible. Beneath the polished surface of his wealth and authority was a man burdened by scars, both visible and invisible. The strange disease that plagued him wasn't just physical, it had seeped into every corner of his life, shaping who he was and how he interacted with the world. Doctors had labeled it incurable, but Mia refused to accept defeat. She spent hours researching online, consulting specialists discreetly, and even experimenting with herbal remedies from her village. Her persistence annoyed Adrian at first. He didn't want anyone poking around in his private pain, but over time, it softened something within him. For the first time in years, someone cared enough to fight for him, not because they were obligated or paid to, but because they genuinely wanted to help. Adrian's past began to unravel piece by piece as Mia dug deeper. He rarely spoke of his childhood, but when he did, fragments of a lonely boy emerged. A child raised in luxury, but starved of affection. His father, a ruthless Mafia boss, taught him early on that emotions were weaknesses to be crushed. By the time Adrian took over the empire, he had perfected the art of detachment. But now, with Mia constantly challenging his defenses, cracks were beginning to show. Late one night, after a particularly heated argument, Adrian finally broke down. He confessed how the illness had started. A faint tremor in his hand during an important meeting, and how it had spiraled out of control, leaving him terrified of losing everything he'd worked so hard to build. "I can't afford to be weak," he said, his voice raw with emotion. "If people find out, they'll see me as damaged goods. And then..." He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Mia held his gaze, her heart breaking for the man who had spent his entire life hiding behind a mask of invincibility. Meanwhile, trouble brewed outside their fragile bubble. Adrian's former business partner, Victor Kane, reappeared like a ghost from the past. Once a trusted ally, Victor had turned against Adrian after a bitter fallout years ago. Now he was back with vengeance in his eyes and secrets in his pocket. Victor knew about Adrian's illness. How? Mia couldn't figure out. But he used it as leverage, threatening to expose him unless Adrian handed over half of his empire. The stakes were higher than ever, and Adrian's usual tactics of intimidation seemed powerless against this new threat. Worse still, Victor wasn't working alone. Rumors circulated about a shadowy organization pulling strings behind the scenes, targeting powerful figures like Adrian and exploiting their vulnerabilities. As the pressure mounted, Adrian grew more withdrawn, retreating into the cold shell Mia had first encountered. Mia refused to let him face this battle alone, though she came from humble beginnings. She possessed a resilience born of hardship. Growing up in the village, she'd learned to adapt, to survive, and most importantly, to never give up. These qualities became her armor as she navigated the treacherous waters of Adrian's world. She reached out to old contacts from her cafe days, piecing together information about Victor and his associates. One name kept surfacing: Elena Rossi, a cunning lawyer known for her ability to dismantle empires with a single document. Elena had ties to both Victor and Adrian, making her a wild card in the unfolding drama. Determined to uncover the truth, Mia arranged a secret meeting with Elena under the pretense of seeking legal advice. What she discovered shocked her. Elena wasn't just a pawn in Victor's game. She was playing her own. And somehow, Mia realized she needed to turn Elena's ambition into an advantage. The tension between Adrian and Mia reached its peak during a stormy evening in late autumn. Adrian had received yet another anonymous threat, this time aimed directly at Mia. Furious and terrified, he demanded that she leave the mansion immediately, insisting it was too dangerous for her to stay. "You don't understand what these people are capable of," he shouted, pacing the room like a caged animal. But Mia stood her ground, her voice steady, despite the fear gnawing at her insides. "And you don't understand what I'm capable of," she shot back. "I didn't marry you to run away when things got tough. If you think I'm leaving now, you're wrong." Her words struck a chord deep within him, forcing him to confront the reality he'd been avoiding. Mia wasn't just a bystander in his life anymore. She was part of him, whether he liked it or not. With time running out, Mia devised a risky plan. Using the knowledge she'd gathered from Elena, she proposed a bold move, a public confrontation with Victor, exposing his crimes and cutting off his support network. It was dangerous, possibly suicidal, but it was their only chance to regain control. Adrian hesitated, torn between protecting Mia and preserving his legacy. In the end, it was Mia who convinced him to take the leap. "We've already lost so much," she told him softly. "What's left to lose?" Her unwavering faith reignited a spark within him, reminding him of the man he used to be before fear consumed him. Together, they prepared for the ultimate showdown, knowing full well that failure meant losing everything. The day of reckoning arrived faster than either of them expected. A high-profile gala hosted by Adrian's company, served as the perfect stage for their trap. Dressed in an elegant gown borrowed from Elena, who, surprisingly, agreed to cooperate, Mia mingled with guests while keeping a watchful eye on Victor. Adrian, meanwhile, played the role of the confident CEO, masking his inner turmoil with practiced ease. As the evening progressed, tensions simmered beneath the surface, each passing moment bringing them closer to the climax. Then, just as planned, Mia lured Victor into a secluded area of the venue, where Adrian awaited with damning evidence of his crimes. But as they confronted him, a twist no one saw coming sent shockwaves through the room, leaving everyone, including Mia and Adrian, questioning what would happen next. Would their gamble pay off? Or would the darkness finally swallow them whole? Just as Adrian stepped forward, evidence in hand, Victor smirked and pulled out his own ace, a recording of a private conversation between Mia and Eleanor. The room froze as the audio played, revealing snippets of their secret meeting. Victor's voice dripped with triumph. "You didn't think I'd let you walk into this without covering my bases, did you?" he sneered, his eyes locking onto Mia. For a moment, doubt flickered across Adrian's face. Had she betrayed him? But then Mia spoke, her voice steady, despite the weight of the accusation. "Yes, I met with Eleanor," she admitted, looking directly at Adrian. "But not for the reasons he's implying. I was trying to protect you. If you'd listened instead of jumping to conclusions, you'd know that." Her words hit Adrian like a punch to the gut. He realized in that instant how much he still struggled to trust. Not just others, but himself. Taking a deep breath, he turned back to Victor, his expression hardening. "Enough games," Adrian said, his voice cutting through the tension. With a swift motion, he revealed the real bombshell. A signed confession from one of Victor's former associates, detailing years of corruption, blackmail, and illegal dealings. The document had been hidden away for months, waiting for the right moment to strike. Victor's smug grin faltered, replaced by panic as security guards moved in to arrest him. It was over. Victor's empire crumbled before their eyes, leaving him powerless and exposed. But the victory came at a cost. As the dust settled, Adrian collapsed into a chair, visibly drained. His illness, exacerbated by the stress of the confrontation, flared up worse than ever. Mia rushed to his side, her heart pounding as she saw the pain etched on his face. For days, they stayed locked away in the mansion, focusing solely on Adrian's recovery. Doctors were called in, treatments adjusted, and slowly but surely, Adrian began to stabilize. Yet it wasn't just his body healing, it was his soul. Through Mia's unwavering support, he started to confront the fears and insecurities that had haunted him for so long. "I don't deserve someone like you," he murmured one night, holding her hand tightly. "Maybe not," Mia replied, with a small smile. "But here I am anyway." As weeks turned into months, life began to find a new rhythm. Adrian stepped back from some of his responsibilities, delegating tasks to trusted allies, and carving out time for himself and Mia. Together, they transformed the cold, impersonal mansion into a home filled with warmth and laughter. Adrian even surprised Mia by funding a community center in her village, giving back to the place that had shaped the woman who saved him. In return, Mia introduced Adrian to the simple joys he'd missed in his sheltered life. Long walks in nature, cooking, meals together, and stargazing on quiet evenings. Their bond deepened, becoming something neither of them could have imagined when they first met. The subplot involving Elena took an unexpected turn as well. After helping Mia and Adrian expose Victor, Elena found herself questioning her own motives. Was she truly content, living in the shadows, manipulating others for personal gain. Inspired by Mia's courage and integrity, Elena decided to use her skills for good, opening a legal aid clinic to help those wronged by powerful figures like Victor. Though their paths diverged, Mia and Elena remained connected, bound by the shared experience of fighting against injustice. In the end, the story wasn't just about overcoming external threats. It was about healing from within. Adrian learned to embrace vulnerability instead of fearing it, while Mia discovered strength she never knew she had. Their journey taught them that love isn't about perfection. It's about standing by each other through flaws, failures, and fears. As they stood together on the balcony of their home, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, Adrian wrapped an arm around Mia's shoulders. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "For everything." Mia leaned into him, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't known was possible. They weren't just survivors anymore. They were partners, equals, and most importantly, a family. Their story became a legend, whispered among those who knew them, a tale of redemption, resilience, and the transformative power of love. And though challenges would always arise, Mia and Adrian faced them together, knowing they were stronger as one. For anyone watching or listening, their journey served as a reminder. Sometimes, the greatest victories come not from conquering the world, but from finding someone who makes your world worth fighting for.